Welcome to another episode of Jay Leno's Garage. It's a special episode because I am fortunate and I'm going to be the very first person outside of GM to drive the new Z28 Camaro. This is a car all us Camaro fans have been waiting for a long time. I want to introduce you to a gentleman you may have seen on his website before. He was the guy that helped us get our Olds Tornado back on the road and do all the testing at GM. Al Oppenheiser. Al, come on in here. Now, Al, what is your job? You're design chief, what is it?
Chief engineer.
Chief engineer
at
Camaro. There you go. You're the big chief.
Big chief.
Yeah, well, you did a great job on our Olds Tornado. We're still running fantastic, so we can't thank you enough for that.
Good.
And I see some subtle changes. Tell me what we have. How is this different than the other Camaros?
Mark Royce met with us and said, hey, I want to do two things with the Camaro. I want to take some heavy mass out of this, and I want to beat anything that the competitors can put on the track.
And let's tell them who Mark Royce is.
Mark Royce is our president of North America.
And the cool thing is he is a real car guy.
Definitely.
You know, in the old days, the head of GM was always kind of a cigar-smoking guy who drove the Cadillac and, you know, wore a hat and all that kind of stuff. Whereas Mark's a real car guy. He's been here. He's been to our garage and had fun with us in the past. So he knows cars and he knows what he likes.
Absolutely. We took the very successful Camaro program and we decided to set a target of taking 100 pounds out of it. So it's 100 pounds lighter than the SS V8. We decided to up the horsepower, so we've got the 7-liter LS7 engine, so we're going to be at least 500 horsepower. We've gone to things like carbon ceramic brakes.
You know, it's interesting that you say carbon brakes because even a lot of the exotics, you know, you pay extra for that, so that comes standard on the Z28.
Standard, it's standard.
Wow. And you have a dry sump lubrication as well?
We do. We have a dry sump that helps prevent oil starvation and keep oil pressures up at high laterals. With the carbon ceramics and the tires, this car is capable of easily, consistently a 1.07 G max lad, and we're seeing 1.5 G's diesel.
Now, I know the Corvette has had my ZR1 has the dry sump, of course. Is this the first time it's been used on the Camaro?
It is the first time we've used it in the Camaro. Yep. So the other thing is, true to the heritage of a Z28, and everybody says, when's it coming out? Why didn't you do a Z28 when the Z01 came out? We waited in trying to keep with the original heritage of the Z28. Air conditioning is not standard.
Right.
Up-level stereo is not standard. So contrary to what you think, a car that will cost this much doesn't give you all the bells and whistles that it should.
Right, but it is a track car like the Z28 was.
Definitely.
First. And the first year was what, 67 or 68?
67.
67 was the first year Z28.
And it was named after the RPO of the engine.
Right.
But true to the heritage, I fought for the Slash, so we brought the Slash back too.
Oh, good. You got to have the Slash.
Got to have the Slash.
I love the Slash. Very cool. What do we got, 19s on this?
We got 19s. Again, I mentioned these are Pirelli 305s, and they're 11-inch in the front, 11.5 in the back.
Now, a lot of guys go for the 20s. I myself don't like the 20s or even the 22s because they ride harsher and your wheels tend to break when you hit a pothole. Why did you guys go with 19s?
Well, we went with it basically because we want the tire patch, we want the lateral grip, and basically the way this gets around the track so fast is lateral grip, corner entry, mid-corner, and corner exit, and the tires are a big contributor to that.
Now, are these wheels unique to the Z28?
They are.
Okay.
They even have Z28 machined into them.
Oh, very cool. And we have a 6-speed, correct?
It's a 6-speed Tremec, same Tremec you find in our 1LE track car. That's off the SS, and the shifter's off the ZL1. It's our quick ratio 5.1 to 1 shifter. If you're a ZL1 fan, it's 300 pounds lighter.
Wow. This
car makes downforce, 150 pounds of downforce, which is 400 pounds of downforce better than an SS.
And is this a production color or no?
This is the car we actually revealed at the New York Auto Show. It's a 40 gloss flat white, and we did it purely to attract attention to the car. It's not going to be a production color, unfortunately, although white will.
Will this be production with the black?
Yes. The front splitter, the rockers, and the rear spoiler are all production colors.
I like the 4 pipes. That's kind of sexy.
Yeah, it's our active exhaust system, which takes vacuum off the intake and gives you that nice startup sound. And you get into the throttle and certain speed, the valves open up, and it gives you that nice brap sound and the popping.
Basically a flap that opens. And,
Exactly.
Okay, opens at what, at RPM? Or
RPM and speed.
Okay, and well, obviously this is functional.
This is a functional spoiler. It aids in giving us 70 pounds of downforce additional in the rear. We actually have an additional wicker bill that is going to be available for this car that'll be set up for certain tracks around the country that will help give you more downforce. They do, the F1 has a lot of success with the suspension system on this car too. There's a Multimatic Dynamic Suspension Spool Valve, or DSSV is the trade name.
Now explain what that is, a Multimatic. Is it magnetic? What does it mean?
Multimatic's actually the company that has patented this technology for F1. The only other production car that uses it, if you can call it a production car, is an Aston Martin 077.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a $1.4 million car.
Right.
We're the first production application of it, but basically it allows us to.
And how does it work?
We can infinitely tune the compression and rebound settings, and what we've done is we're going to have a high and low speed compression and rebound setting, so that when you take this on the track, you got that specific tune, but when you're driving around town, it's not like a race car should feel.
Cool, cool. So this is about as close to a track car for the street as you're going to get, isn't it?
Oh, we want people driving these on the street as well.
Right. Are those the Recaro seats?
Yeah, these are also new for 2014, Jay. These are our performance seat from Recaro. Again, another tested name in the racing industry. Part of the mass reduction is this nice Recaro seat has manual height and fore-aft adjustment.
Yeah, I like manual adjustment. You know, my rear end isn't that big that I need electric motors to move it back and forward. And having that extra 30, well, yeah, of course you're going to need it, but yeah. Having that extra 30-pound motor in there just seems ridiculous to me. Because really, most people, you set your seat and it stays there until you get rid of the car in 10 years or whatever it is. So very nicely done. Very cool, very cool. I think it's about time to take it for a ride. I like these Recaro seats. You know, as I said before, it's like a lot of manufacturers do like boutique manufacturing. Chevy makes the body and the engine, the suspension, brakes are Brembo, seats are Recaro. You know, you get the people who make the best at what they are, and you put that in your vehicle.
Right.
You know, these seats are really supportive and firm. The car feels tight. And again, it's got a proper gearbox. You know, when you go to the high-end European cars, most of them you can't even get a manual shifter anymore. So it's fun that you can still shift by hand. And a couple of years ago, we took the first Camaro when it came out to Bob's Big Boy on car night.
Oh yeah, that was
people
great.
Went nuts. You know, this car feels classically American. By European standards, this would be a big car, a huge car. By American standards, it's a mid-sized car. But it just has a nice high-speed rumble to it. Look, a Porsche Carrera, as we call that, lunch. Oh, that guy's trying to outrun us. Gotta admit, it's a great-looking car. I mean, it looks like a muscle car. Feels like a muscle car. Got the magic 427. Kind of a throwback to the old Z28, but on steroids. And it goes. It's got a lot of bottom end torque. It's got a nice rumble to it. I don't know what the old Z28 got for mileage, what, about 14, something like that?
Oh, if that, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this, you're in the 23 mile per gallon range. That's pretty good. Over 500 horsepower, 6 speeds. It tracks very nicely.
Yeah, that's one of the things with the damper software we've got is high-speed damping, low-speed damping, so it doesn't give you that wander. We call it trough wander when you get the tire strips.
What do you think these will go for?
Well, with all the racing focus we got on this and the high-end parts like the Brembo carbon ceramics and so on, it's going to be more of the ZL1, which is 56.5. So this will be north of that.
Well, this is funny. It's the first time this car's out on the public street, I'm sure, at least in California. We're getting thumbs up and tires are going, hey, wait a minute. How long has the Z28 been out of production?
2002 was the last one.
Wow, so 2002 was the last year, so it's been a good 11 years. Pretty amazing. Well, it's good to have it back. You know, it gives a nice, compliant, firm ride. You see why these get such good mileage at 80 miles an hour, you barely turn it 2,000 RPM. What is the rear end ratio?
It's 391.
Was that high, huh? 391? I just like the fact that if you really want to make a full-out track car out of it, you can. No air, the bass radio, mechanical seats, 6-speed. And this is not available with an automatic, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, so it's only the true aficionados will get the Z28. You know, in some ways I feel sorry for the aftermarket guys, because in the old days you'd buy a Z28, then you'd buy the Recaro seats, then you'd buy all the options, the sport wheels, maybe upgrade the brakes. But really now you have the manufacturer building the best Z28 they can, essentially. I mean, I don't know any way an aftermarket person could maybe improve this.
I don't think so.
Unless you went something illegal with a chip of some kind.
Well, we're actually going to offer these Z28 parts with our Chevrolet Performance catalog. So if you have an SS, you can start buying parts to upgrade it with our own GM parts.
Oh, that's very cool. Because when I was a kid, they had what, the Copo production order. That was the, there was sort of a secret catalog. If you knew somebody, you could order these parts for your Camaro or Corvette, whatever you wanted. But now the dealer knows that people know, and they give you the whole package, which I think is fantastic. People want the best, the fastest version of what's available. And if you like Camaros, this is about the best you can get. And the cool thing is, you're only going to build about, what, 1,500 of these a year, something like this? So, I don't know if it necessarily would be a collector's item, but, you know, I've got my Shelby GT350, and I've had it for 20 years, and it's skyrocketed in price. So, you know, with the upcoming emissions and whatnot, you wonder how long they'll be able to build cars like this. So, this could be one of those legendary cars for the next generation.
Is that the new Camaro?
That's right.
Awesome.
Z28, cool, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
We use the GoPro too.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome. It's great seeing you.
Cool, you too.
All your work.
There you go. That was pretty good. You saw that blonde flag us down to ask about the Z28. How often does that happen? Two middle-aged guys get flagged down to ask about their car. So imagine how well you'll do if you buy one. So, Al, thank you very much. What a thrill to be the first person outside of GM to get to drive this. And go for a test drive. I think you'll be impressed. It's a true muscle car, and it handles like a sports car, and it's a great-looking car. So sorry about the burnout. We'll do that one of these days. See you later.